Good afternoon. And first and foremost, I really want to thank Senator Manchin's staff for scheduling the time today and for everyone else here, all of the other participants joining us. We also want to make sure to let the Senator's staff know that we applaud his leadership on infrastructure and on creating a clean energy future, not only for West Virginians, but for the nation as well. There's a lot on the line for West Virginia, and we have now less than 30 minutes, so let's make them count. Want to get started? I'm Susan Monroe with Chambers for Innovation and Clean Energy. It's been exciting to get to know some of you on today's call. All of us here today, we are all in to diversify West Virginia's energy mix. And I think Michelle Rodolini may join us if she already hasn't already, but she's with the Beckley-Raleigh County Chamber. She has stated before that there's room at the table for all of it, for every type of energy. And chambers and economic development professionals get it. Clean energy is bringing in millions of new investment to West Virginia and good paying jobs. And West Virginia, we're making great strides, but we all know there's much more ahead. And that's why we're here today. Last November, Senator Manchin stated this is exactly the conversation we need to be having right now. There is significant economic opportunity to be found in clean energy, and our top priority right now needs to be economic recovery and growth. Hear, hear. So joining us today in the interest of time, I did want to introduce some of our participants we have with us. We have Dan Hendrick from Clearway Energy, very active in the Grant and Mineral County area. EDF Renewables, Tom Carlson with Jefferson County and the Wild Hill Solar Project. Torch Clean Energy, Sam Gouland, Development Manager, Jefferson and Berkeley County Development as well. We have coming in and participating today, Beckley-Raleigh County Chamber of Commerce, Michelle Rodolini, President CEO, Heather Morgan McIntyre with Jefferson County Chamber of Commerce. We have Erica Storch with the Wheeling Chamber, who is going to try to join by phone if she's able to. We have Jefferson County Development Authority, Dennis Jarvis, Executive Director. And then Sandy Hamilton from the Berkeley County Economic Development Authority was unable to attend today, but she is quite on board as well and welcomes this conversation. We also are pleased to have with us from the IBEW, Steve Crum, District 4 Representative. So Senator Manchin staff members who are with us today, I would allow you, if you would, just to give us a quick hi and an introduction.
Great, thank you. I see Renee is on. I think she's on. Renee, are you available to start?
I am. Hi, everybody. Sorry, I'm having some issues with my webcam here at my desk, but my name's Renee Black. I'm Senator Manchin's staff director on the committee. Glad to see so many familiar faces. Thanks for having us.
Phil, you want to go ahead?
Hello, everybody. Phil Hancock from Senator Manchin's DC office, and I handle energy and environment here at this post.
Great. And I'm Bree Van Cleve, and I work for Senator Manchin on the committee with Renee.
That's great. I tell you what, we don't have Dennis on yet. Nope. Okay. All right. Let's hear from some of those from some of the developers that are here on the call today, because they're all in. I know that, and they want more investment. So let's hear from them. Hey, Sam, why don't you begin and just talk briefly about your investment thus far and anything else you may have on the horizon.
Sure. Well, again, my name is Sam Deland. I'm a development manager at Torch Clean Energy, and we are a developer and builder of solar and wind projects We're based in Colorado, but I am in Virginia, and I kind of manage the solar projects we're working on in Virginia and West Virginia. To give you an idea of scale, like a typical project that we would build would be 100 megawatts, or about 1,000 acres of land. So this is large scale renewable projects. We would sell that energy for less than the market rate, which I think is exciting. And it's exciting to see how far the industry has come. I guess, in the prompts, we were asked to kind of identify what brought us to West Virginia. And I think the main thing is that it is part of PJM, which is the electricity market in much of the East Coast. It's the largest competitive wholesale market in the world. And there's a lot of utilities and businesses as well that want to buy clean energy. So we were originally developing projects in Virginia, and we saw promising sites and areas in West Virginia and wanted to expand. And our first two projects are kind of in the Eastern Panhandle in Berkeley County and Jefferson County, but we are looking at other sites in other counties in the state as well. And to give you an idea of the challenges, we go through the process to connect to the grid with the utilities, and that's kind of the same anywhere in PJM. I think one unique challenge to West Virginia is the way the property tax is treated for solar energy. So Virginia and also North Carolina, they have an assessment for solar property that treats it partially as pollution control equipment. West Virginia actually has something similar for wind, but nothing for solar. So if you just look at kind of the statutory tax rate, in West Virginia, a solar project would pay 10 to 15 times the property tax that it would in Virginia. And usually that's enough to kind of make the project, not feasible economically. We're trying to sell power at a low rate. We're competing for these contracts. And there is a solution. You can get a locality to kind of make an exception in what's called a payment in lieu of taxes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that's an uphill battle because people kind of view it as a tax break, and whereas in Virginia or North Carolina, it's just kind of the statutory rate. So that is a challenge, and I would say that we want to contribute to the county and pay a lot of property tax, and contribute in a meaningful way, but it is an uphill battle when there's such a difference between what the rules are in West Virginia versus the neighboring states where we're actually competing with those projects. I was hoping Sandy Hamilton would be on, but that's one example where we had a really good local partner that helped us get past that. But I just wanted to kind of highlight that as probably the single most difficult issue that is specific to West Virginia. But thanks again for the opportunity today and for all your efforts on renewables and other things as well.
That's great. Hey, Dan, why don't you share with us? You have some great stories, and Mineral County Chambers, all the chambers that you're working with, they speak highly of you. So let's hear from you.
Good stuff. Well, good afternoon, everybody. And so Dan Hendrick here with Clearway. We're one of the top 5 renewables developers in the country, and we are the largest owner operator of wind power projects in the great state of West Virginia. And we currently have 580 megawatts either in active construction or under operation. So we have one operating site of 264 megawatts in Grant County. We have 2 projects under current construction, and we are proud to have project labor agreements with the West Virginia trades on that. So hat tip to Steve, not your union there, but everybody else seems to be on the site. So it is literally crawling with men and women right now, highly skilled, just fantastic people working their hearts out to get the project completed on time. So very excited about that. We have an additional asset that we recently acquired from Nextera, an early stage development project also in Grant and a little bit in Tucker County. And we're actively looking at a couple of other sites. the reality is West Virginia has a ton of wind. So, why West Virginia? That's the first criteria, right? Is the availability of wind. And we did an analysis, and there's a little over 700 megawatts of wind operating in the state right now. Based on the current hub heights and the characteristics of wind in the state, we believe that actually only 1% of the state's wind energy potential is being met. So we could easily grow a lot in the state. So in other words, we're sort of, letting an opportunity pass us in the wind, so to speak. And so, we're doing everything we can to really maximize the opportunity here. Just like with Sam, I think the fundamentals are driving the interest here. A lot of interest from corporations, industrial off-takers in our power. That's true with some of the utilities. Certainly, First Energy could be doing more, but we're close with AEP, who's an off-taker. We're also really proud to have Toyota as an off-taker for one of our projects. So great to sort of keep the power, at least virtually, within state, among in-state consumers. So a lot of great business. We're doing fantastic, and I got to say, some eyebrows have been raised in the broader renewable energy world about West Virginia. The reality is, we've been welcomed with open arms. So thank you for helping to contribute to that environment. In terms of things that could really help us make a difference right now, I got to say, all eyes in the country are on your boss, and wanted to say thank you for all the work on the bipartisan infrastructure plan, which we hope will get implemented soon, but also with respect to the reconciliation package. There's just a lot of initiatives in there, and you probably are living and breathing these every day, but I just want to pin in a real strong push for direct pay at 100%. There's only so much tax equity appetite out there, and it is rapidly disappearing. So having the direct pay at 100% is going to make a real difference to the industry. So if you want to accelerate the other 99% of wind development that's available in the state. And I should point out, by the way, we are the largest taxpayers in the counties where we operate. So we are, really good partners. We're very closely with the localities. So, and we really try to set down roots, work very closely with those folks. Second, PTC, ITC extensions, really important as well. I want to give a particular shout out for the transmission tax credits. It's interesting. I was at the West Virginia Chamber Summit the other day, and I'll wrap this up really quickly here with both senators, and they talked a lot about, Senator Capito in particular, about hard infrastructure and how she supported hard infrastructure. Well, if you think about all these storms that we're getting lately, if you think about the weatherization issues in Texas, I got to say there is, no hard infrastructure like transmission infrastructure, which is going to be key not only to expanding the opportunities for renewable energy and just general weatherization, but also for other sources of energy, fossil, nuclear, all those other sources of energy are going to need more transmission. So I'll leave it there. Storage ITC is great. 48C manufacturing tax credits are great. I'm sure you know all this stuff, but we would really love to see some action there in the near term. So thank you.
Hey, thank you. Dan, I want to make sure that I drive home something you said. You're the highest taxpayer in the areas that you're developing in the counties. That is something we hear time and time again. And it is meaningful because it's stable, resilient, I want to say recession-proof income for a county. So amen to that. And also eyebrows raised about, your investment in West Virginia. It surprises a lot of people, but in a really delightful way, in a very meaningful way. So, and also all eyes on your boss. So that's where we are. Okay, let's move on. Did we have Tom Carlson on? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, hi, Tom. Sorry.
Yeah. Thanks, Susan. I'll jump in. Thanks so much again for the invitation here. And it's really great to be on the call with everyone. So I'm Tom Carlson. I work for EDF Renewables. I'm personally based in Rockville, Maryland. But like Dan, I just got back from the West Virginia Chamber of Commerce in Lewisburg. And it was a great opportunity. Got to speak with your boss, with Senator Manchin, some of your colleagues. So that was fantastic. And it's great to meet with you all here today. So EDF Renewables, we're one of the leading developers in the U.S. We've developed 16,000 megawatts in the country since 1985. And we're really excited about our Wild Hill solar project that's in Jefferson County that Susan mentioned. It's a large-scale project, 92.5 megawatts. We're hoping to be able to move forward to construction in the next couple of years. And this represents a $125 million investment. And we also have an agreement with the West Virginia Building and Construction Trades to work on that construction. And I wanted to mention another project that we have. It's very early stage. It's a smaller project. It's 10 to 15 megawatts solar. And that one's in McDowell County. And I learned how to pronounce the county when I was in Lewisburg, McDowell. And that's on a fully reclaimed coal mine. So really excited about that. And obviously those projects have some unique challenges. So appreciate all your work on the committee and your boss's leadership dealing with solar on reclaimed coal mines. And just to speak quickly to the opportunity here, Dan hit on it a lot. I just want to say we're proud to be part of West Virginia's all of the above clean energy economy. I know the state, I was at the NETL, I know the state is leading on carbon capture and looking to move that forward. A lot of wind in the state, and solar is really just beginning. There's only like 11, 15 megawatts installed, but there's 5,000 megawatts in solar in the queue. So again, thank you as well to Senator Manchin and all of you for your work on the bipartisan bill, transmission and so forth. And just to add on to what Dan said, tax credits, obviously a big deal. I know you hear a lot about that. And the other thing I understand in your committee there, you're working on other ways to advance clean energy. There's many ways to go about it. One of the proposals we've heard about working on with, I understand, with Senator Smith and with your committee on the clean electricity payment program. And from what I hear, and obviously this program is a great proposal to provide additional incentives. Again, all of the above clean energy, be great for the state and the country. I understand it does need some work, some refinement, but I think with some refinement, it can really get even more in line with the mantra of innovate, not eliminate, and all of the above and so forth, and do a lot of good things. And if there's time, would love to hear any thoughts on kind of where that stands, if there's ways to improve it, and would be happy to have further discussions on that as well. But thank you for the time, and great to be here.
Great. And I think a common theme that we're hearing from the clean energy developers on this call, they're looking at other projects. They're actively pursuing. That's a key theme. So that's important for us to keep in mind, because we want those to go forward. We want those to be built out. We want these developers on our call today, we want those in West Virginia. We want that development here. We do not want them to go elsewhere. So we want that investment in job growth in West Virginia. Heather, welcome.
Thank you. Sorry, I got tied up in a phone call.
Yeah. So we are going to come to you, Heather. But Steve, we'd love to hear from you and to see what you think. Steve Crum with IBEW, to see what you think about the benefits, the opportunities. Is in your work, is West Virginia ready for more?
Yes, absolutely. And thank you, Susan, for allowing me to participate. Thanks, Dan and Tom, for the PLAs and giving the building trades the opportunity to do your work. And Dan, I'll probably see you next week at the West Virginia Building Trades Conference. I'd also like to thank Senator Manchin for all his work as chairman of the Senate Committee on Energy and Natural Resources, and also his leadership on the infrastructure package and clean energy expansion. So a little bit about the IBEW. We're the largest energy union in the world with 775,000 members and retirees. In West Virginia, we have approximately 2,125 construction members. But sadly, right now, we have about 300 of them that are laid off and not working, which is approximately 15%. Many have relied on coal power plants for decades, where we worked maintenance and retrofits and all that. And this is why we are so eager to see renewable energy generation come to West Virginia. Currently, I think there's around 25 projects, solar projects that are in the queue. They could produce upwards of 2,100 megawatts of solar generated electricity. We estimate that for every megawatt, there's 1.25 construction jobs created. So based on that calculation, we could see the creation of 2,625 construction jobs just from the solar alone. That is huge. That's a lot of potential right there.
Steve,
And,
Steve, can I ask you just to say that one more time? Was it 1.25 jobs or?
Yeah,
megawatts?
it's a rough calculation. You know, sometimes it's based on, you know, the construction schedule and all that.
Sure.
But that's kind of a round number that we use for a ballpark.
Mhm.
And you know, construction jobs, they often get discounted because people look at them as temporary jobs and they don't look at them as full-time jobs that manufacturers and others can bring. But, you know, our members make a family-sustaining living working themselves out of the job that they're on and moving on to the next one. So we feel that we're a vital part of every local community. One success story I'd like to share is a story about a West Virginia contractor named Solar Holler. Solar Holler signed an agreement with IBEW Local 317 in Huntington last March. At that time, they had 10 to 12 crews and they employed about 30 people. Today, they have 25 crews and they are employing upwards of 60 people doing solar work on residential homes all over the state of West Virginia. That just shows you that there is
Hey, Steve, you went on mute. Yep,
there we go.
you're back.
I'll move my arrow away from the mute button. I forget where I was. Many corporations, you know, are wanting to get their power generated from a renewable energy source, and they're going to get it from somewhere. You know, why not get it from West Virginia? I want to touch just real quick on electric vehicles. You know, there's a tremendous need for charging stations in West Virginia. The demand right now has exceeded the current number of stations out there. I don't believe that there is a non-Tesla DC fast charging station in West Virginia at all. These DC fast charging stations can take an electric vehicle from 10% charged up to 80% in about 30 minutes. Because of the void of the fast chargers, the West Virginia Electric Auto Association, their current policy is to advise electric vehicle drivers not to attempt a crossing in West Virginia if they're in a non-Tesla vehicle. You know, there's a 12.1 vehicle or $12.1 million Volkswagen diesel settlement out there that the state's going to receive. I think 5% of that is geared towards charging stations. If the senator could see his way to convince somebody to increase that to 15%, that could be potentially a lot of jobs for our electrical workers and other building trades members as well. And also attract companies like Amazon to West Virginia. They have an order for $100,000 or 100,000 electric delivery vans. They are building everywhere, very few places in West Virginia. The other thing is once they build a huge building like that, they come right back around and they put solar panels on top of those buildings, generating about 4 megawatts of solar energy after the buildings are built. So, you know, in closing, renewable energy generation offers so many opportunities to our members and other West Virginia workers. It can no longer be ignored. Renewable energy generation could allow us to get our members back to work and also backfill our retirees by bringing in new generations of electrical workers into our apprenticeship programs. We hope that the senator can use his love for West Virginia and his influence in the Senate to bring renewable energy generation to the forefront in West Virginia. Our members are really counting on him if he can do that. So thank you.
Steve, thanks so much. I want to make sure that we allow a couple of minutes for Heather and Michelle to share some of the success that they've had around clean energy in their area. Heather, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, I'm sorry again that I was late. I had
No worries.
and I'm not real sure what everybody else said or whatever. I know Tiffany is from our area, so Tiffany might have already said everything that needs to be said. But I just think anytime that we can talk about clean energy, get more businesses in our area or in West Virginia is a win-win for everybody. So I'm excited to hear and hopefully that, the Senator can work. I know he loves West Virginia as much as we all do that's on this call. So whatever we can do to try to make it better and a great place to live, that's kind of what we're doing.
That's great. Thanks, Heather. And Michelle has a great story as well, especially with solar. So Michelle, do you want to share a little bit about that?
Susan, I believe Michelle is at the Greenbrier still at the summit like we are. So she may be on mute for a few minutes. I know she was getting.
Okay. Well, as you well know, most of you may well know that Raleigh County is home. I think is that going to be the largest solar development right now in the state, I believe. They've been quite outspoken. The Beckley-Raleigh County Chamber has been very outspoken. They're out there front and center taking the lead on supporting this type of investment. Plus, they really get that clean energy can be a tool to attract other investment, other companies. We all know that Fortune 100 and 500 companies have these aggressive goals. So that is an important tool. If a chamber economic development is supporting and welcoming clean energy into their community, that's going to make it more attractive for one of those Fortune 100, 500 companies to invest in their area as well. Heather is nodding her head. So, and we only have a minute or two left, but I'd love for any of the staff members to, make some closing remarks. Hey, Michelle, I was just kind of speaking for you, didn't mean to, but anyway, you are on mute. Oh, shoot. We can't hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I apologize. I had another meeting and I can't find my laptop. So I was looking around. It's on with my luggage.
Oh.
So I'm on my phone and it's a little bit hard to hear. So I do apologize.
No problem. So for the senator staff members, any questions, anything you'd like to report on?
I'm so sorry. I'm just having such a hard time hearing here. But no, we are, we're excited about our projects in Beckley and, we're having some success there. They're, a little bit slow moving, but, we're on board. Which is successful for us being in a coal company, and I will say that our chamber did get a little bit of pushback from a couple of our county commissioners who have been, really ingrained in the coal business, but everyone is understands the importance of the diversification. So things are going well.
Michelle, thank you for your leadership in that, and that excellence in leadership in leading your board and your community, through and navigate those issues. That's great. Okay, back to the staff members. Any last questions or closing comments that you would like to provide?
So this is Renee. Thank you all. This was incredibly helpful for us to hear all the good work that you're doing, some of the problems that we're seeing. Some, when it comes to the state level, we have a little bit less control over, but it's helpful to hear your perspective. Dan, I think you talked a little bit about the tax credits and things like that. He's not on the finance committee, but as you all know, every vote counts these days. So that's incredibly helpful for us to hear about the direct pay and all the different things. We are very hopeful and excited to get that bipartisan package done. We've got, I think, Bree, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's something like $12 billion in there for transmission in our title of it. So we're excited about that. We also have something that I hope you all are familiar with, but we have some funding in there for renewables or clean energy on abandoned mine land as well. So that's something that we obviously have a lot of in West Virginia, and we're hopeful that that's something that we can get taken off the ground too. So we look forward to working with all of you. Please, we have an open door. If there's anything going forward, we'd like to continue these relationships and hear about things that are going on. We're very familiar with Solar Holler. They're one of the companies we talk about a lot. So we're glad to hear that they're working so closely with labor too. So that's my spiel. I'll see if Bree and Phil have anything else. Thank you all.
Thank you, Renee.
I don't have anything else to add. I took really good notes. There are a couple of other members of our team who will be interested in these updates. So we will share far and wide to make sure that everybody is up to speed on the updates that you've shared with us. And we always welcome more updates, and we will continue to do what we can at the federal level to support what you're doing at the local, county, state level. We're definitely focused on what we can do, what levers we can pull. And so we'll keep at it. And thanks for the updates.
Thank you
Nothing
so
for me.
much.
Thank you
Yeah.
all. This is very informative.
Thank you, Phil. Well, I think we're all in to create just a stronger, cleaner future for West Virginia. We are prime for that, and I think to hear that others may see that as a surprise, it's no surprise to us. So we welcome that, and we look forward to more. If the staff members, we understand, we only had this limited time. Thank you so much. And you are welcome to move on if you need to. For those that are able, we'd love for you just to stay on and to maybe address maybe a couple of possible next steps. So have a great Labor Day weekend.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
I can stay on for just a minute. I am normally the one that's 5 minutes late to most phone calls, so I'm happy to stay on for another 2.
Well, okay, so this is the after call.
Oh, okay.
This is the after conversation. So while we have you, Renee, what would be helpful for us today on the call? We have a number of other chambers, because of the short notice, they weren't able to join us. What would be helpful to support the senator's work?
So I think that one thing that is always very helpful, not just for him and figuring out where he wants to go, but also for our messaging and just being able to push things, is hard examples of things. So all of the things that you all talked about today, that's incredibly helpful for us. Sending letters and things like that always help too. Keeping in touch. I hope that most of you probably know Luke Bassett, who handles climate writ large, but the renewables portfolio too. He's from West Virginia. He knows West Virginia well. So Bree, she didn't mention this. Bree manages the energy side of the committee. So she works with everybody on our team, but then Luke Bassett handles climate, and Zahava Urecki handles manufacturing, which is another thing that we're focused on, is bringing like 48C, the clean energy manufacturing jobs to West Virginia too. So she handles manufacturing and also labor issues for us on the committee.
Great.
So making sure that you're in touch or familiar with all of them in case you ever need anything, have any questions, or vice versa. If there's anything where we are in need of an example or a story or just a finger on the pulse, it's helpful for them to have your contacts as well.
That's great. If we had an event in West Virginia, like a groundbreaking for one of these projects or ribbon cutting or anything like that, is that something the senator would be interested in taking part in?
I'm sure he would. I don't envy his scheduler.
Correct.
But I'm sure he would. So please let us know. If not him in person, we've got a big state staff, and I think they typically do, appear for him and do deliver remarks or something like that too. So he loves doing that kind of thing. So please do reach out and we always hope that he can make it, but he's obviously stretched a little thin these days.
Yes.
But hopefully we'll have a lot of ribbon cuttings.
Yeah. Yes. A lot of groundbreakings, ribbon cutting, open houses. Yes. Yes. That's great. Anything else from the other participants before we?
Hey, Susan, I'll jump in with something. And Renee, it's really good to meet you on this call. This is Tom Carlson again with EDF Renewables. I mentioned the obviously the Clean Electricity Payment Program, and I know that the reconciliation discussion, it's still, ways to go. And there was, I understand that your committee got something around 198 billion for various things. And I know there's some good things in there. Obviously that might be pared back a bit, but I also have heard that Luke in your office is working on that piece of it to some degree, but just love to hear any thoughts on that. I know there's ways to refine it, but any thoughts on how we can be helpful in providing feedback and on any of those parts?
So yeah, we have an instruction of up to $198 billion. I think that $150 billion if that was envisioned for the original proposal for the Clean Electricity Payment Program. This likely won't come as a surprise, certainly to anyone who read my boss's op-ed yesterday, but he's, well, and many of you that are at the Greenbrier and talked to him in person or heard him speak there, he's in a little bit different of a place on a number of different ways on the reconciliation package. We are working to try to find something that we can all coalesce around. I don't know yet what that'll be. So Luke, as you mentioned, is our lead on that. He is always all ears for great ideas. So if you have ways that you think it could be refined that is helpful to West Virginia, please reach out and talk to him about it.
No, thank you so much. That's really helpful. And we'll definitely follow up on that. Thank you, Renee.
Great. All right, well, I better jump, but thank you so much for having us. It's good to see you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a great holiday weekend.
You too.
Thank you.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much. I know this was like a little crazy to pull this together on a holiday Friday afternoon. So kick off. So I think what we are thinking about doing is bringing some of these, combining some of these great comments that were made today, and we're thinking about doing some type of a letter thanking the staff for their time and reiterating some of the important points that were made today, and having each one of you sign that. So we will begin work on that. Any other, the floor is open. Any other comments? Thank you so much again.
Susan, if I might jump in,
Yes.
wanted to say thank you to you and your team. Susan is the one that's collectively making a lot of these things tick behind the scenes on behalf of chambers and economic development authorities, and of course on the developer side. So connecting all of you and aligning is really paramount as we continue to hear from the senator's staff. Those success stories and examples and hard facts are really important. So if you'll continue to work with us and Susan's team as well to share those, we would be much appreciative of the work that you continue to do on that front. So I just want to applaud Susan and tell her we appreciate what she's doing.
Well, it's collaborative effort. So thank you all. And I think we are done today. Everybody have a great Labor Day weekend. Steve, it was great. It was great to have you at the table as well. Thank you. Thank you to each of the developers and chambers and economic development folks. We'll keep the momentum going. West Virginia is just exciting opportunities ahead.